Lydia!
Lydia! Oh, Lydia! So, yeah, we're rolling here. So, obviously, we could start.
So why this movie? Why did we pick this movie?
Is this one of the ones that we found in North Carolina?
If we didn't find it there, I know we watched it there.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we had already had it on a VHS tape that we recorded. But Brian, where would have we recorded it from? It's not like it played on cable.
All right, well, there's got to be a statute of limitations up on this. Remember, we did do some... Now, I'm not saying we did that a lot.
God, like a handful of times. Maybe.
Yeah.
I remember there were VHS tapes that prevented you from doing that too.
Yes.
Because they just break off that tab on the tape.
Yeah.
And that prevented that. But not all the tapes did that.
You could put a piece of tape up there too to do some other tricks.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't a very...
This is all going to be edited out. So.
We'll put it in the special features after our deaths.
Okay. Well, this is our second show here. Two for the show. Number two. I love that man.
I know, we can just start talking about him.
You could guess who we're talking about. Number two.
Why can't you do it in two?
Yes. This is our second show.
This is all going to be edited out.
Yeah, this is all going to be edited out. Yeah.
It's the warm-up.
Yeah, the warm-up.
Maybe it won't be edited out.
What's that? Pieces?
Yeah.
Pieces?
Little fragments.
Two for the show. Two for... Yeah, well, clearly we're still working on something here. So, but yes, there are two for the show, and it's just two for the show.
Dos for the show.
Dos. Okay.
But we do have a history with the movie because we did see it. When was that?
We haven't even mentioned the movie yet. Yes.
Well, that's...
Yeah, because we keep editing. So we're going to cut that out. We're here for two for the show. And we are here. And, of course, we're here to do a very... how do I explain this? We're doing a movie that you should know, that you probably don't know, but you may know if you're a Raimi Campbell... Raimi Camp.
Sam Raimi.
Raimi Camp fan, because we learned about this movie pretty early.
Yeah.
Pretty early.
You know where I first heard about it? I first heard about it on a horror documentary on MTV of all things. It was called This Is Horror.
Oh.
And that's where I first saw it. And that was even before I was a fan of Evil Dead.
Oh.
I think.
See,
that was a long time ago.
See, for me, it was Evil Dead Companion, the book. On the back of the book, it said everything that every person who worked on that movie did, and I found, thou shalt not kill. Except.
Yep. You're not supposed to kill anybody except these guys.
Yeah. Originally, it was called Bloodbath.
Which is written on the wall. There will be a bloodbath.
The bloodbath is coming.
Bloodbath is good.
The bloodbath, and that is actually written in. Also, it's the same thing in the short film.
Okay.
Stryker's War, starring Bruce Campbell, because
Stryker's War is the investment film.
Film starring
Is that
Bruce.
Available anywhere?
Synapse. It's a special feature.
Well, I would like to see that.
Did you know that Sam is still the cult leader in the short film?
I heard about that. I saw a still image of it, and it was definitely rougher.
Yeah.
He was rougher. Looked like his wig was not good looking.
No, the wig was much shorter and kind of weird looking, but...
not that the wig's great, and...
Wig kept falling off.
Yep.
In the feature,
clearly,
the wig kept falling off.
Fake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, let's not... You're going to get me because I love Sam in that movie.
No, he eats up every second.
He's having a great time.
Oh, really?
Well, first of all, I don't have the budget for this script. Are you out of your mind?
Well, no, Bruce Campbell jokes about that. Bruce Campbell goes, he's like, yeah, so, here we are making this low-budget crap film. We've got explosions. It's a period piece.
Which is more expensive.
More expensive. with explosions, guns, squibs.
Because it all takes place in the same time period.
69, yes.
Yeah, because after the war, there's no time that elapses.
Yeah.
It's like immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty immediate when he shows up back in town limping. Yeah, so you're making a period piece. You got explosions. You got squibs. Oh, the uniforms.
That's right.
You have to have uniforms. It's like, yeah, let's make this independent, cheap film, but let's throw all this ridiculous, expensive stuff.
Fair amount.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The opening battle scene was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not gory to the too much, but
That was
just
pretty much all the squibs I remember was that opening scene.
yeah.
And I could tell too. It was the easy way to pull the squibs off. 'Cause a lot of them you can tell were just dummies.
Yeah.
But still good.
Remember in the opening scene where they're walking through Vietnam? The one soldier trips the spikes, and the spikes come up and they stab right through him.
That was great.
Opening
That was like
60
the first
seconds. Opening 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's like the first thing that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see the spikes, so I thought he was going to step on them.
Yeah, Josh shows you. The camera pulls out, and you get to see the spikes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. Nobody, even Josh. Now, I thought when I talked to Tim, the way Tim was telling me, it's like he was the only one that didn't like the title. Tim. Oh, I don't like this title. Thou shalt not kill.
I see Tim not
What?
liking the title.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
So the way he told
it should
us-
be thou shalt kill.
Yeah, yeah. When you watch all the interviews and everything like that, nobody liked the title. Josh Becker didn't like the title. The movie was submitted as
It's clunky.
the movie was submitted as Stryker's War.
Yeah.
Irving Shapiro calls up Josh Becker. Obviously, everybody knows Irving, very famous for changing the title of Evil Dead
Yeah, which was a great idea.
from Book of the Dead.
Book of the Dead, I still like that title, but he has a point about that where people think
He's
that
got a
they're
point about every change he makes, and here's his on this. He goes, can't call it Stryker's War. Seems like there's a strike going on during a war. And then he goes, yeah,
That's brilliant.
but we spelled it with a Y.
Who thinks of that?
But Becker goes, yeah, but we spelled it with a Y, sir. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're going to
That's
hear
what it sounds like.
They're going to hear it.
It's like, okay, Sergeant Stryker's War. That doesn't change a thing, kid.
I love it.
Do you want me to distribute this film or not?
Right,
well,
right.
yes, sir. Your new title is Thou Shalt Not Kill, Except. Well, that doesn't
That's
that doesn't
terrible.
make much sense, sir. Your new title is Thou Shalt Not Kill, Except.
Don't make me say it again because I hate it myself.
And apparently his idea was foreign markets are all religious. So he went with this Thou Shalt Not title.
That makes sense.
And it exploded.
Yeah. I was wondering, what the hell does this movie have to do with religion? There's nothing. Nothing.
It's a name that he used for foreign markets. And
Now that makes sense because I had no idea. And this is why we talk about this, because I would have never have known that otherwise.
which Bruce was Jack Stryker in
Of course.
Sarge. Yeah,
Because he's gorgeous.
he was tall.
He's gorgeous.
Shoot,
Doesn't matter.
No,
it does, but
he did a good job.
He's fine.
He did a pretty good job.
He does. He's the one character that has the layers.
And he's the theater actor too. He's the one they found who was taking things seriously. He's very professional on set. So
all these yahoos.
I think he did.
Tim Quill.
Yeah, I think he did a good. Oh, dude, Tim. We'll talk about Tim. Tim, and of course, all the actors say Tim was the one on set that was cracking all the jokes behind the camera, and Tim kept all the girls on set.
Oh boy,
Tim was the one who got all the girls in all of their Super 8 movies.
I love it.
Roger Rickman.
That's Dave.
No, Roger Rickman is the black gentleman.
Oh, Jackson.
Yeah. Who is the Mr. T impersonator in real life.
I heard about the Mohawk and I didn't put it together that he was an impersonator.
He had a Mohawk.
Okay.
And, of course, it's not I don't think he was rude about it, but the Mr. T gig, that was his bread and butter.
Yeah, that's right. And that takes a while to grow that out.
I'm not cutting my Mohawk.
Right.
So they added hair.
Just like Cesar Romero wouldn't shave the mustache. I really like Jackson in the...
I mean, obviously, we're getting into some depth stuff here.
Right.
Thou Shalt Not Kill is a Vietnam movie about a small, what do you call it when it's only like 4 or 5? It's not a platoon, a squad. A small squad. I apologize for the real Marines that know terminology. They get ambushed. Brian, Sergeant Stryker, gets injured.
Stryker.
And he goes home. It's the classic story, right? And he goes back home to his dog, to his girl.
Yeah.
And it just so happens in his town, there's a Manson.
He's a little out of place. He's got maybe some PTSD. He does drink. He does hang out.
He does drink.
Doesn't see any. He's a not an outcast, but he's aloof. He's a recluse. That's the word. He's a recluse. He's living in the woods in a very familiar looking cabin. It's not the Evil Dead cabin.
No, you're right.
It's pretty familiar.
I know that.
Yeah.
Jack, the old man, brings him his booze. Yeah. In the wagon.
I like that you remembered part of his name.
Clearly, my rambling here is that's what that scene is inspired by.
Okay.
It's 100% because Otis, the old man in this movie, Otis.
Oh, that's right.
Otis brings him the booze, some groceries.
Yeah, gives him a little advice.
Yeah. Which was a good scene. Get off your butt.
A good scene.
Get off your butt. Go see my granddaughter.
That's right. I live right over there. Yeah. I mean, you could go say hi.
Yeah, we're just right over there. Come, get off your butt. Come say hi. And no, it was good. That was I loved that. And I do
remember. I did like that scene.
We won't get too much into it,
right.
But same thing happens to Otis that happens to Jack and Piranha.
Now later in the film, and this is not that scene, Stryker lifts one of the cushions, and it's a scene, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon my French. Was that what that was supposed to be? I'm sorry. I'm actually asking questions at this.
Huh? Is that poop?
All right. Well, moving on. Sorry.
So
we're going to edit all that out.
Couch. Let's move on. Grandpa.
I knew this was going to be a wild one.
Grandpa. Grandpa.
Well, I can fall a poop on my own couch.
I can poop on my own couch. All right, Grandpa. All right.
So we have the grandpa trying to, bring Stryker back into the world.
Yeah. Very simple.
Yep. Let's get to the killing, basically.
Yeah. So, Sergeant Stryker returns from the war, injured. He goes back home to his dog,
just him and his dog in a cabin in the woods.
Gets back in with his old flame girl, Sally, and then the next day.
Now, why are they there? Why are his buddies there? Are they just randomly there?
Okay, they are. But what's funny is they called it. Now I don't know. Of course, I always knew it as leave. They were on leave.
Because they are in their uniform.
They called it Liberty. I think he goes, we're out on Liberty.
Oh.
So I don't know what the difference is, if there is a difference or if that's just a screenplay
I've never heard that term.
But I believe Sergeant Tim said, we're out on Liberty. So, yes, they were out on Liberty.
Okay.
And I remember that scene because they're just driving around and they're like, Stryker lives down the road. Let's go see Stryker.
That was one of the funniest things in the movie. Because it's Dave who actually says, we could go see him.
Yeah.
It was the best idea. Here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. When that happened, I was like, oh, guys.
Now, what I did like, they could have just done a little bit more, but notice this movie just gets right into it. There's no dilly-daddling.
No.
Dilly-daddle. There's no fussing around.
Yeah, right. There's no, right.
I'm really glad because it was Lieutenant Dave. Was it Lieutenant?
He was a lieutenant, yeah.
Yeah. It was his orders that got them
the ambush.
Yeah. So he was blaming himself for Stryker's injury.
They don't do much with that, by the way.
If they just would have tightened the shot. But when they got in there, Dave gets in there, and then Stryker turns around and goes, oh, hey, go get cleaned up, soldier. And then they nod to each other and smile. That was it.
Yeah.
And as a soldiers, that was,
thank you.
Right.
That's the forgiveness.
They didn't need to do, So I saw it, but if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed it and wondered why, that wasn't resolved.
Okay.
Maybe at first it was just Jackson and Tim.
Yeah, you need another guy.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was, but they did say that they actually made his role larger when he wowed them during an audition.
Now, do you consider, because there's a certain amount of time that goes by with Jackson Tim, by the way, Tim's name
is Tim.
But he also has a nickname in the movie. They call him only a couple times.
Tim Tyler. His name is Tim Tyler.
Tyler.
What do they call him?
They call him the Love Machine.
Oh, the Love Machine. Yes. Yes.
Jackson, and they're hanging out. They're getting into town they're on Liberty, and so there's like a few scenes that go by before they even get to Stryker's house.
Right. The
bar scene, and then and the lady scene.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so let's go back to that bar scene, though.
Yes, let's go back to that bar scene,
please.
Yeah,
please.
Because I know there's something that you want to mention in the bar scene because I think it's the same thing I'm thinking about.
Well, I mean, are you talking about the fight?
Well, there's the fight, but even before that,
when they're in the bar, what
the best extra in the movie?
Oh, where they're like,
yes.
I had a fight with my lady.
Yes.
And, the best extra award goes to the biker.
Yes.
And I forgot the line he actually says.
Here's the line. His friend's asking him, he was like, I heard you got married. How is it?
Great.
Great? How's your love life?
Great.
The camera zooms out, and then Tim's there, and he goes, yeah, now he doesn't have to wait in line. I think Tim... That extra, great.
Yes.
That is the extra. That is the best we award. This movie gets our first best extra award.
Great.
We proudly present him with this award.
We proudly present him.
This is an honor.
Yes.
And that is a great
Believe
extra.
Me. Yeah.
Great.
And they are real bikers.
They are real bikers. Yep. They can't afford things.
Yep. They did the Romero thing. Yep. Just, hey, you want to be in a movie?
That's dicey. Bikers can be decent.
Like what they did to Romero. I mean, they went off the hinges and started rolling in places that weren't supposed to roll in.
The
mall.
I mean, hey,
great.
Right? No,
great.
Dude, I love that guy so much. When that hit me like a bucket of ice water. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Great.
If nothing else happens, I'm glad I saw.
I am glad you said that because we got to hand out our first greatest extra award.
Oh, I'm giddy as a school child right now.
Yeah.
Because I knew you were going to.
Oh my God, that was wonderful. Yes, so that was great.
Yeah.
And of course, the Marines are clearly picking a fight with the bikers.
Absolutely,
clearly
the
picking a fight.
Bikers weren't really the aggressors there.
No.
Yeah. Jax, because they're drunk, I guess. Jax is just throwing barbs over his shoulder.
We will talk about this. You just said it. Something that the bikers really weren't instigating a fight. The Marines,
The
Marines,
they were going to let it go.
We're poking a fight.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to bring this up too, but we're still going to go back to the bar for one more thing. Do you remember the Marines also did a thing that wasn't all that good? Do you remember they're walking up to the party store and Tim goes up? There's jailbait. And those are the girls. They end up.
Those are the girls.
Those are the cult girls that they end up boinking.
Okay.
In the van.
I didn't see that. I thought those was a different set of girls.
So, no, because they go in, they buy them the beer.
Oh, that's right. They were underage.
They're underage. So Tim's like, yeah, girls, stay right here.
Yeah.
I'll buy you the beer. So it's already, remember, this movie takes place in the 60s.
Right.
So it's kind of a little bit different.
A little bit. Still a crime, but.
So they went, got them the beer, and then they took the girls for a ride, had sex with the girls.
For another ride.
Actually, remember the one in the front seat didn't have sex with Dave?
Yeah, and now, was that because...
I don't know, but Dave finds his wallet later after he kills her.
Okay, so, because she was just trying to rob him.
And
the whole thing kind of was a setup to rob Dave, I guess.
I mean, I think maybe they probably would have robbed anybody, but I think the other girls were just wild girls. And
yeah,
wow, I get to have sex?
Might as well.
Let's have sex. It's the 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have...
It is free love.
Yeah,
era,
I'm going to have sex. And
sure.
I think they
Why not?
I'm not sure if they wanted you to know right off the bat that they were the cult girls, but the way that first girl, front seat, was like,
no.
You know, she's like, yeah, she's weird. These are cult chicks. Tim's mom embarrassed him in Warren at the theater when his butt came up.
He pulls those pants down so, like, he just yanks them off.
He was so awkwardly, like just...
The way he yanked his pants down was almost too real.
Yeah.
To me, that was hilarious because she just rips them off.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Dave. Poor Dave in the front seat. Just gets robbed.
Yeah.
But returning back to the
Just
bar.
a coincidence, really, though. They
Well,
weren't stalking them or anything.
No, again, they were just looking for somebody to buy them beer and probably plan to kill.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They got the beer, they got sex, and then they left.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say about the bar scene, now when we return to the bar scene, it's actually not in the bar scene anymore. They're walking out, and I guess the bikers were doing a bad thing. Remember, the bikers were picking on the bartender,
They
Sally.
were picking on
Sally.
And
then when Otis comes out, hey, now, what do you think you're doing, Ed?
Did you? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I just got to say, did you see how Otis basically just gave up and threw himself in a pile of boxes?
I rewound it because I couldn't believe it. He marches directly into those cardboard boxes. Basically, that biker missed his mark, is what I thought. Because he was probably supposed to be more like...
I think what was happening is Otis was probably the more seasoned actor and stayed true to his mark. And the biker, who's not an actor, was off mark. And Otis, the actor, Otis just walked... Peter, I think his name was Peter. He just walks right into those boxes.
It just falls right on those boxes. That was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad we both caught that. Because I'm like, did he just walk up to them and fall down?
Oh my goodness
gracious.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Because I'm not crying. But yeah, no, I had to rewind that too because that was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's glorious.
The fight scene. Let's categorize Tim Quill's fighting style.
Okay.
It is.
It's like, yes, it's like this.
I mean, he is relentless.
It's like hockey punches, I want to say.
I mean, yeah, times 10.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just...
It's like rapping. He's like rapping his knuckles on that guy's face.
Oh my God.
It is pretty brutal to watch. And by the way, that's all he does to the guy. Other than, there's one other thing he does.
I think
he just seriously just does this.
I think he uses his knee once.
Okay.
But
the other guys are doing other moves.
He is a rapid power punching machine.
Yeah, and he's big boy too.
Yeah. So that I remember because I remember originally seeing that and just going, when I remember the first time, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty it's brutal.
He killed him.
It's brutal.
He killed him. Jackson actually had an all around.
His was better because you notice Dave throws like a kick and he almost falls down. Did you see that?
Yes, a couple times.
Oh boy.
A couple times. But you know what? I think they're playing on the fact that, they were all wasted.
They're all okay. That clearly was not intentional, though.
You're right, though. You're right.
And also, he's the one that has the troubled past.
Yes.
With the giving the order to the ambush. So that also could work with, like, he's not 100% with his confidence,
right.
Perhaps. So,
right.
So that kind of works for that, too.
Yeah.
But Jackson does some wild things too. He throws like an elbow, and it's just kind of like just does like this. Yeah. The guy goes flying, like
his fighting style was
very telegraphed.
His fighting style was choreographed, very blocky.
Blocky.
But it worked.
Yeah.
Because he was a beast.
Yeah. He's
and it was an action-packed type movie, and that's what you can do. And it just worked. And shot and edited the right way, it worked the way it did.
Yeah.
But that's not
his was the best stuff in the fight, I felt.
Jackson also is the one that has the Jason. He kills a cult member as if he's Jason Voorhees. He picks him up. And goes.
That was great. Before that happened, because I was saying to myself, I was like, please, I know it's not going to happen, but I just want to rip him in half at this point. Because
Jackson is stabbed.
Yeah, like in the gut. Bad. So I'm like, so this Jackson's showing off that he's a beast here. I'm like, dude, just rip him in half. And he basically does.
Yeah.
For the best that movie can do.
Jackson fights 2 or 3 people. The person who stabs him, he kills. And then there's somebody else that shows up.
Doesn't he also fight Ted Raimi, but he doesn't get the
He doesn't get the kill.
blow.
He doesn't get the kill. Yeah. Jackson. Why does Jackson, after Jackson gets stabbed and falls on the floor, why does he grab a handful of pine needles
Does he?
and shoves it in there? Pine needles and dirt. And he's just shoving it in there.
He literally rubbed dirt on it.
He literally rubbed some dirt on it.
Rubbed some dirt on it and walked it off.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, well, it worked.
That was he rubbed some dirt on it. But the pine needles? Mm-hmm. Oh, Ted as the chain man. The chain man is awesome.
He's great in the movie.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I like his look a lot.
And he's perfect.
I like both Sam and Ted in the movie.
Ted said something about how, he was just... Ted wore his own pants, and they just put these chains on him.
Yeah, he looked great.
And that was all they
needed.
Kind of
Mad Max.
And he wore a mask.
Yep.
And that was all. And he said, and Ted said it was so much fun, to shoot the movie. Sacramental fluids.
I think the best line in the film.
One of the more memorable lines of the movie.
Don't you ever touch the sacrificial fluids. Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. And just the way and it's the okie dokie and then the kick, of course.
Yeah, because
with the sound effect.
Ted, the camera's on Sam.
Low angle.
And then the cameraman sees Ted stick his hands.
So he does pan.
And the blood. So that's when you see in the movie where the cameraman starts panning over to Ted, and Ted's like,
yeah.
Yeah. We're rolling still. This is film, by the way.
Yeah.
We're rolling still.
It's a good kick.
Sam, being a director, already knows camera placement and camera awareness.
So
he knew that where Ted was, he could kick and it would look real.
I realized that, too. Because I'm watching Sam very closely in the movie. Because I like him in the movie, and I'm watching his body movements, the little things he's doing. And I noticed, he's like, okay, his line delivery is not the best. He's still better than a lot of other directors I've seen do roles in movies.
His line delivery is a little blocky. Again, I don't want to keep using that term, but it's a little blocky.
A little clunky.
But it works so good.
Yeah.
For his character.
But I just love some of his, just the way he's walking and moving around. And he's only on set 5 days, I think.
He's only on set 5 days, and he was in and out each day when he was there, and then he was boom, gone. There, boom, gone. Backtrack, when you said his movements, that scene where I believe it's Tim who finds them in the woods, and Sally is roped to a tree, and it's the scene where he grabs Sally's boobs with the blood.
Very respectfully.
But when he's doing his motions, he's literally just doing this. Yeah. It's so creepy.
It is creepy, and that to me was a scary part because it's almost like it's showing off their religion.
Well, yes, and do you notice they have already showed how tough the Marines are and how badass the Marines want to be?
Sure.
There was nothing Tim could do. He was just him. And there were like 9 or 8 of those cult members there. Right. So he had to run away. He had no gun. They had all the weapons. He couldn't save Sally.
Jackson, too. Jackson also discovers, because they both discover them at the
Jackson discovered the field full of people. Like all the people. So yeah, Jackson found those.
Sees they have hostages.
Jackson found the valley of the hostages. Tim found Sam and Sally. And Stryker
and somehow weren't discovered.
Stryker and Dave found Otis dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all of them found, and remember, now the baby. I believe the baby was killed in this movie.
Yeah.
They didn't show it. But they showed Sam's hands going toward the camera.
We know the baby is killed.
So the baby is killed.
Yeah.
You and I believe the baby's blood is the sacramental fluids.
It's got to be sacrificial.
Sacramental?
You're thinking of Sacramento, California?
Sacramento, California? Sacrificial.
Yeah, no, because movie language, and that's well done.
It's building up. They build up.
And they don't have to show the baby dying. We just, from the language of the movie, it was actually pretty subtle. And I'm glad they did it that way. That was probably the only way they wanted to do it too, because it would have been too much otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe the original 185 pages might have showed a little bit more or something. But
I'm very curious about that script. Yeah. What did this? I mean, that's a lot of pages. So
it's like their Apocalypse Now.
Right.
Right. I bet you his script was. I mean, we knew his script was dark. We knew his script was long. By the time that Becker was ready to change it to a little bit more fun, lighthearted camp of a movie, he didn't care. Letch didn't care.
Oh, see, I thought he would have cared.
Nope, he was already moving on to it. He had already moved on to a different script. I don't remember what script it was, but he had already moved on. He had taken his part of the coming up with the story, and that's it.
I'll tell you what, if I wrote 180 pages, just me, I would have cared.
Yeah, well, they were friends.
Yeah. Too. I was like, I didn't think that was good. Oh,
yeah, exactly. They probably
they kept some of it.
They definitely kept enough to where he got his story credit. The screenplay is written by Josh and Scott.
Okay. Yep.
Spiegel or Spiegel?
I think it's Spiegel. I say Spiegel.
Okay, let's say Spiegel.
I think it is Spiegel. Yeah.
Spiegel. Spiegel.
Never put that together.
Scott Spiegel.
Mr. Spiegel.
Mr. Spiegel.
Spiegel does have a very ominous sound to it.
Mr. Spiegel.
Paper.
Josh and Scott, they wrote the script. They didn't change it to Stryker's War until Bruce Campbell and Becker would drive back and forth from Tennessee to Detroit in between making the Evil Dead movie. They were the ones that drove the Ryder truck with all the equipment. So they would have like 3-4 hours each drive. So let's talk about Bloodbath.
Yeah.
Let's talk about and then
what's going on here?
All of a sudden, Josh said on one of their drive backs, they stopped at a coffee shop, and he took a napkin, and he wrote down everything.
How many movies have started or been continued on a diner, coffee shop napkin? Yeah, just a cocktail napkin.
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
That's what my notes are.
Yeah,
So, and that's where Stryker's War became, and then Bruce starred in Stryker's War.
Because Bloodbath has a very severe sound to it.
Severe sound.
Stryker's War sounds like Reb Brown is going to be in it. Sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And then of course Thou Shalt Not Kill. I don't know what that's.
I have no idea. Roger Rickman.
That actor is doing a really great job in that movie. He might be the best performance in the film. Hard to say though, because Stryker is pretty good too. With he's got his,
and you know what, he was coming from Brian was coming from a Shakespearean background, so acting like a tough guy with a cigar in his mouth. Which, by the way, that's a
far cry from Shakespeare.
I love that. He didn't think he was going to be able to do it, but I think he did it pretty well. I love when he's got the cigar in his mouth and he's shot and he's dying in the war and he's shot. Get out of here!
Get the hell out of here!
He told him, "Go that way.
Move your ass into the jungle.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Get out of here! That's an order."
I mean, I just,
that was pretty great.
And then he carries him, and then Jackson picks him up.
Moment.
He picks him up and he's carrying him, and he's firing guns while he's
piggyback moment is so great.
And then he drops him. He gets him to safety, and he drops him.
It's a very silly
image. And
he's
got
the
cigar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did.
Thanks.
I love that. See, it's just the badass, the tough guy thing they do in the movies. That's so fun.
It's a very silly image, and with Lo Duca's score at that point of the film, really reminded me of Hot Shots.
Lo Duca's score is okay, fine. Probably not what they were going for.
No, I know, but this is all hindsight, years later.
Yes. But
the Lo Duca score is very effective.
Lo Duca's score is the most liked thing about the movie to many people who made the movie. Josh Becker himself said that the best part of this movie is Joe's score.
Yeah, because in the scene, and I love this part of the movie, when Sam abducts Sally. when she pulls the sheet away, and he's like, and they have that part. The score there was it was thrilling. Really good moment there for the score too.
Though Duca had a 5 instrument setup, which for them at that time is huge.
That's amazing.
Josh Becker said that it's a shame that the score hasn't been released, and if you just close your eyes while the movie's playing, you can imagine a pretty good movie. Becker, the director, said that. I think he's not giving himself enough credit. I enjoy the movie a lot.
Becker does seem like the kind of artist who really is very tough on himself. Also doesn't, because he takes forever to finish projects, so maybe a bit of a perfectionist.
You're right out. Well, also too, learning about what happened to this film, they started shooting October 1st of 84, went broke October 10th.
Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
going over budget.
Thank God for that.
In independent film is
so easy to do.
A necessity.
Yeah.
You're not making it bloodier enough.
Yeah. Who shoots a $20,000 film for $20,000?
Exactly. So, and,
you really feel, though, the limitations. This, for me personally, because I love low-budget filmmaking, but you felt the limitation when... And by the way, before I even go into this, this movie is kind of stupid, so I don't really care about spoilers. And I mean stupid in a fun way. I don't think spoilers really matter in this movie. I don't think there's anything we could say about this movie that really spoils it.
Well, no. I was just going to say...
We've just talked about the whole movie.
Well, I mean, there's not really anything. It's about 4 Marines battling a Manson-like cult.
And it's a revenge story because it's based off Otis. They attacked Otis.
And his dog.
And his dog.
Stryker goes, the guy with the sword is mine.
Yep, no, you're right. Yep. Simple emotion core, like right down to the heart of a human being's.
Yeah.
Revenge can be a pure motive. It's not always dirty. Like in this movie, it's saying revenge is needed here.
We're going to say it's shot with 30,000 or less, around 30,000.
Yeah, borderline backyard budget.
Borderline. It's shot on Bruce Campbell's property.
In the garage a lot too.
They did Bruce Campbell's garage, and they also did the backyard and front yard of the house that he grew up in. That's where they used. That's the property they used, and they killed his yard because they emptied out the garage to shoot in the garage, and they left everything out on his yard for like a month. They just covered it with a tarp, so his lawn was just gone. There's no dead grass. It was just dirt.
Poor Bruce.
Yeah.
Poor. Rest in peace, Bruce Campbell's lawn.
It is so
comedic.
Tomahawk.
Sound effects. Do you remember when the head gets blown up and the blood comes out? It has Scooby-Doo sound effects.
Yes.
Very definitely reminded me of Tomahawk.
Inspired us so much as young kids.
Yeah.
Camp Tamarack sign.
It's Tamaqua, I think.
Camp Tamaqua.
And there's one of my favorite ones is the television in the cabin. I think Stryker's, and it's like distortion and snow.
Yeah.
And he's changing the channel, and you hear Emil Sitka.
Hold hands, you lovebird.
That's the famous Sitka line.
Now this is
he said that in Intruder.
This is the 3rd time technically they had Emil Sitka.
Yeah.
Because they had Emil in Intruder.
Yeah.
They had Emil in Crime Wave.
Crime Wave. That's right. He's the
elevator
guy.
Elevator man.
I don't know what you call him. He's not a bellboy.
He's the general.
He's the elevator operator.
He's the general.
Yeah.
And then they had Hold Hands, You Lovebirds.
Yeah. So that was the most fun Easter egg for me.
The Evil Dead clock is behind
Dead
Stryker.
It's the actual clock.
It's the actual clock.
Yeah.
It's behind Stryker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the Easter eggs in this movie are just ridiculous.
There's a lot. There's score stingers from Evil Dead.
From Evil Dead.
When Raimi's first introduced, I think, is the Evil Dead score stinger.
Yeah. They don't really say it out loud, but clearly the movie takes place in Michigan because on the radio you hear about the Detroit police.
And
you hear about the Detroit
The murders
mayor.
took place in Grosse Pointe.
The Grosse Pointe Heights, I think they said. Okay. Grosse Pointe Heights, I think they said. The sheriff that shows up has got a Gladwin Gladwin sheriff car.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's really cool.
So the sheriff car has Gladwin, Michigan on it.
Yeah, because they're down with the North. They know about the North.
Oh, yeah. Becker,
Michigan.
Ramey, Campbell, they're all Northern Michigan boys. They know all about it. I mean, if they're pointing out Grayling, who knows Grayling?
Yeah, nobody.
Tim's line, man, I'm starving. I think he says that 3 or 4 times.
I think it's 3.
3 times.
Yeah, because I was trying to count that. I think Tim really was starving.
I think Tim was hungry.
Yes.
And let's get this shot over with.
Yeah. Let's get to the craft services.
He just kept it. He just kept craft services in this movie.
What? I just ran right to a wall there.
Yeah, so Tim obviously kept that, and then he just how perfect is that? He kept it for the end. Well, guys, let's go. I'm starving. At the very end of the movie.
Again, not acting.
Yeah, again. No, not acting. When all the boys finally get back together, when they join Stryker at his cabin and they're all drunk and they're all
that was heartwarming when they shot the guns.
Yes,
together.
But do you remember how it led into that? They're just like, you got any guns,
yeah.
Stryker? And Stryker
again, very tomahawk.
And then yes,
yeah, very tomahawk.
And then Stryker again with the cigar. Yeah, I got a lot of them. They went out there and fired real guns.
Not a good idea. Tim.
They went out there and fired these guns, and so.
Well, it's not it's not a SAG movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Do whatever you want.
That's right. Yeah.
They didn't have insurance.
Yeah, you're right. That was such a fun moment. Just a real moment. We're just firing guns.
Them coming together.
It was that they're soldiers.
They're soldiers. Yeah.
They're coming together.
It's what they know. I thought it was curious that the whole end of the movie is reversed from a typical horror where the monster is chasing the protagonist. Mm-hmm. This movie, the good guys are chasing the monster.
And how great how great is Sam? This place is a maze.
I can't get out of this maze.
That line,
this is a maze.
He repeats it a couple times. Yeah, it's like, I can't get out of this maze.
I can't.
It's not a maze, Sam. You're in the woods. But yeah.
I gotta get out of here. It's a maze.
The whole stunt too came up on the spot. The production manager, I forgot his name, but I saw an interview with him. He was terrified. He's like, guys, we don't have an ambulance here. Yeah. We don't have insurance here.
Yeah. Sam's
you want to do what?
Kind of an important person right now.
Yeah, you want to do what? Yeah. So they are able to do it. They did it the way they did it.
They did shoot that motorcycle stuff really well, I felt.
The branch hits him there.
That was great.
Knocks him off, and then they shoot the bike off the cliff, which was another nervous thing for the guy. Like anybody can get hurt doing that.
Yep.
So that was wonderful how they did that ending. And you're right, the monster was running away.
The monster's the one who's in trouble.
The monster was running away.
Yep.
To live another day. Remember, what did he say? He goes,
I am Jesus Christ.
He did that line really good, by the way.
Yeah, he was pretty scary in the movie.
He did that
even though I know really it's good. Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I know it's Sam Raimi, yeah.
But
we got to mention at the end here that Bruce Campbell is in this movie.
He's a fake ship.
His legs are in this movie.
Yeah.
When Whiskey, the dog, is brought out of the kennel and brought into that camera frame next to the pair of legs, that is not the 60-year-old man who runs the kennel. That are Bruce Campbell thin-ass
I don't remember what shoes was he wearing.
I don't know.
I would have had him wear the same shoes as Evil Dead.
I think they were loafers.
Okay, so that is similar. But those were very
same
special
shoes
loafers.
as Evil Dead, yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, because in Evil Dead, it was Ted Raimi who had the leg shot. Remember Ted Raimi had the leg shot? Evil Dead? We can go so much on the Raimi camp people.
I had no idea there was that much to say about this movie.
I know. The New York Times saw this movie and created an in-newspaper award for the worst performance done by a director. And it was given to Sam Raimi.
Oh, okay. Fine. That's not true.
I don't think that's true either.
No.
But
Stop it.
Well, I mean, I think it's true that
No, it's true they did that, but it's not true. It's the worst performance by
No.
Maybe if for a director in a major role, I could see that perhaps.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, directors don't have a major role.
Bit doctor roles, walk-on parts there.
Walk-ons and
we're all counting on
extras,
you.
usually.
Yeah. I just had to mention that the New York Times saw it.
Hey, that's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to see it now.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
I'm going to go see this now.
Right. When they basically mop up the cults.
Okay.
They kill them all inside that little cabin they find them in.
Yeah.
That really felt cheap to me.
Okay.
That for me was of all the low budget moments that I didn't care for.
You could actually see the walls of those shacks that they shot in. It was just particle wood board. Yeah. It was they built them.
Yeah.
For that, they killed this
very
person.
Limited with your setups in there.
Great what they did with Spiegel.
Yeah.
Remember he was thrown into the wall and he had all the pin cushions?
That was the best part. That was really good.
That was, I believe he's called Pin Cushion.
That's a great
character.
That's a really good set piece.
Yeah.
It's just all those
sticking out of his back.
Garden tools coming out of his back.
Yeah. And Jackson killed the one in the shed with the shears to the eyes.
Oh, that's right.
That was pretty good.
That was
pretty good kill.
Yeah. No, the gore was pretty good.
Raimi, of course, had his body impaled on the broken.
Does a great face. Was like
the freeze, the actual when his death that it did when he was dying, but then when it cracked and his death and the blood spit into the camera and all you saw was his eye. I was like, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I was like, that's perfect. I love that end shot of his death. That was perfect. No spoilers. Movie's older, and watch it. Well, I think we pretty much covered as much as we're going to cover on this movie. You know what? There could have been even more to say. There probably is,
tell you
but
what.
we don't need to. They don't need to see this movie now because we've talked so much about it.
Yeah, we just basically talked about it.
But you definitely need to see Thou Shalt Not Kill, Except. It's a Josh Becker great film.
I would recommend it to fans of Grindhouse movies for sure, because it definitely has the Grindhouse feel. Obviously, Sam Raimi fans.
You'd have to recommend it to Sam Raimi fans. You'd have to recommend it to Grindhouse fans. You probably have to maybe recommend it, with a slight warning, to B action movie fans.
Cheesy B
action movies.
Definitely cheesy though. Yeah. If you like a movie that doesn't take. This is what I said when I was watching it. I was like, this movie's really dumb, but you know what? It's one of the most unpretentious movies I think I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
It does not take itself seriously. It's just having to have a good time.
What they did with their money, too, I think is way better than what most people can do with the budget they have.
Oh, especially nowadays. Absolutely. Can you imagine somebody 20,000 or 26 they ended up at nowadays? It wouldn't look half as good.
No, and even today with easier filming style, no film, all digital.
Right, because it's easier so you don't have the discipline.
Yeah, exactly. They knew what he had to do, and he did it so well with that movie. Thou Shalt Not Kill. Except. Watch it. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, get out.
I see the guy now. No, it's like, oh, God.
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
I actually missed the dog.
Yeah.